Fine. So today we are going to start the Blue Prism sessions. We already talked about the demos. Today we will talk about this data items, decisions and calculations and multi-calculations we'll be discussing. Okay. So here, uh, please get the software from Mr. Naresh and he will provide you the software license key and also the installation video file. It takes around 15 minutes for an installation. Okay. And whatever the license file we are giving, which is related to 2017 May. So when you are going to launch the application, change your date to the 2017 May and then launch the application. Now after launching the application here, then if you want to change, you can change to normal position. Date. Okay, fine. So as we discussed in the Blue Prism, we will find different tabs like we'll see Home tab here and Studio tab, Control means Control Server, Dashboards and Release Management and System Manager. Here we are going to do the configurations. Okay. Here we are going to do the configurations. So 90% of our work will be on the studio. We have two studios. One is Process Studio, another one is Object Studio. One is a Process Studio, another one is Object Studio. First we'll discuss what is Process Studio and what is Object Studio, what we will be doing here. Okay. So Object Studio will be used mainly, for example, we would like to automate this. We want to develop a robot to process all these steps. Okay. So let's say our client requirement is we would like to launch the application and open the browser, enter the URL and enter username and password and click login button and select the responsibility. And I want to validate the customer information and I would like to send an email. Okay. So now here client is telling that you have to launch the application that is a browser based web browser. That is one type of application, web application. And then they wanted to validate the customer. This is a separate Windows application, for example. And they want to send an email to the concerned person. That is a Microsoft Outlook they would like to use. So total three different applications they are using. Total three different applications they are using. One is browser based, another one is Windows based, another one is Microsoft Outlook. Okay, three different options here it is. Next, here, when we want to go for three different application automations, we have to use Object Studio. One business object, this is for automation. This is for another business object. This is for another business object. We'll be using different stages, nothing but different actions or commands to automate these things. And finally, we'll combine all these three business objects in the Process Studio. So Process Studio is nothing but a group of Object Studio, group of Object Studios. So if you are automating only one application, one business application, then one business object is enough. Okay. For example, your client requirement is like this. we know Flipkart is one of the e-commerce website, and let's say Amazon is another one we have. So two different applications are there. Let's say my client is telling that in Flipkart application, I want to copy some information, and that information I want to enter into this application, Amazon. Okay. So how many applications I'm using? Two applications. Both are web based. Both are web based. Okay. But both are web based, but applications are different, right? But applications are different. Here it is. But applications are different. Here it is. Okay. So that's a reason you will be having the two business objects. So one application is required, one business object that we are going to combine in the process. Okay. So one process is nothing but one robot. One process is nothing but one robot. Here it is. Here one process is nothing but one robot. We are going to combine all the business objects. We are going to combine all the business objects. Here it is. Okay. So we will be discussing. So when we are working in the project, whatever robots are required, we will be developing that many processes. So in Blue Prism, one process is nothing but one robot. One process is nothing but one robot. Here it is. Okay. So is everyone is clear what is Object Studio and what is Process Studio? So first we'll be working with Object Studio. Once we get experienced in Object Studio, then we'll start with Process Studio. Now go to Object Studio, right click, create object. If you have any doubts, please enter in chat window or raise the hand so that I'll unmute. You can speak with me. So I have created a business object. So first three classes, there will be a calculation part. Maximum it looks like a programming part. But once we enter into the next level, then it will be purely automation from the fifth session. Okay, right now we are in second session. So today we'll discuss how to declare a variables in the data items. Sorry, in Blue Prism. So there is option data item. So data item is used to store the values. Data items are used to store the values. Data items are used to store the values. So just like a variables in the software languages here. Double click on the data item. And here we'll mention, let's say I would like to have the quantity in this number data type. This is initial value, and I would like to have the price. This is number data type. 15 is the price initial value. Press OK. So two data items I have defined. So I want to go for calculate this. Here it is. We would like to go for calculate this quantity and price. Then we'll go for the stage called calculation. Would like to go for calculation. Here it is. Double click, and I would like to go for this, multiply this, and right side we can see whatever the data items are available in our Blue Prism. Yes, Ras will be getting every class recording video. Every class recorded video will be shared to everyone. So now here in the calculation stage, we are now I can calculate the quantity and price. Quantity star price. Quantity multiplication of price. And where you want to store the result. Okay, so I don't have any data item, means variable. I don't have any data items, means variables here. So I can create here. I can go for creation of this. I can create the variable here directly. Let's enter the variable here, variable name here. We can give any name, variable name. So let's give it as total here, and create. Click here to automatically create a data item of the required item using the name in the field. Using name in the field here. So what we have to do now here, click here. So that data item will be created. Press OK. Data type by default, it will take it as number because the result of the expression is number, right now. The expression result is number, so automatically it takes the number data type. Later, if we want to change, we can change here, no problem. Yes, data type we have to configure here. Number, date, data type, this all option. Now link the stages. Well, in case you want to sum of this quantity and price, one more calculation. So take another calculation. So I would like to go for sum. What I am trying to do is here quantity plus price, and I would like to store in this data item price. Okay. Now link the stages. Left click, just drag it here, and left click and drag, left click and drag this. Reset, and then you can go for debug. Debugging speed, I'm putting it as slow here. Run this business object. You can see the result, multiply and sum of this. And if we reset, again it will become empty. Means initial values will be restored. Initial values will be restored here. So that is how to define a data item calculations. There is something called multi-calculations. So what is multi-calculations? Now we apply two calculations here. For example, there are 10 calculations we want to execute. So in that scenario, what I can take it is, I can take the multi-calculation here. So go to multi-calculations here, multiple calculations. Okay, at a time I want to apply both the calculations, expression here and result. First select expression. What I want to do is I would like to multiply the quantity and price. I would like to multiply the quantity and price. You can validate, you can test it. You can test the result also. Yeah. And if you want to use some built-in functions, we can use it here. And then where you want to store that result I would like to store in the total. Next, add one more expression here, quantity plus price, and that I would like to store in the sum. Like this, we can add a number of expressions, and finally we can store, and sequentially one by one the expressions will be executed. And if you want to change the positions, you can change here like this. Move up, move down, move up, move on. If you want to remove, you can remove it here. These are options here. Okay. Now the result will be same. What I have done is multiple calculations I have applied in the single stage. Multiple calculations I have applied in the single stage. So we have two options. One is here I can see the result. One is calculation, another one is multi-calculation. Okay. Next one is a decision stage. A decision stage is nothing but a if statement. Based on condition, we are going to define a decision stage. Okay. So this is what we have discussed here, calculations, multi-calculations, right? Next, I'm going for another page, decision stage. I'm going to define one counter variable here, means data item called counter. I'm defining simple loop, number 0. I'm going to increase the counter, calculation, increment, counter equal to counter plus 1. So here I'm going to increment the counter variable and I'm going to put it again in the counter. So counter equal to counter plus 1. Then I want to take a decision here. I want to take a decision, or I would like to check expression. The counter value is greater than 10 or not. The counter value is greater than 10 or not. If it is greater than 10, if it is greater than 10, I want to go for end stage. Otherwise, I want to go back and again increment the counter and again check. So this entire loop we want to go for defining. So if we want to go back, generally we will define like this, right? Instead of that, there is an anchor. Anchor is more flexible for designing purpose. Design only for designing flow. Just for diagram designing purpose only. Otherwise, no stays here. Okay. So if the decision is returning true, it will be closed. If it is false, then it will go back to and go for increment options. Here it is. Okay. So now how it will happen here it is. First process will be started. Data item will be increased and you are checking the value of the data item. If the condition is true, it will be closed. If condition is false, it will go back. Again increment the value, then again check. This is a simple loop I have defined. I'm not mentioning any stages inside of the loop. It is going to happen directly. Now we'll go for run this. Now it's going to check the data item value. What is the value? Counter equal to 1. It's false, right? Next, counter equal to 2. Now we can see the condition is false, then it is, sorry, condition is true here. So it's going to be closed. So by using the decision stage, we can change the flow of, we can change the flow of execution. The flow of execution can be changed by using these options. Here it is. Okay. So decision stage is like a if statement. It's going to be used to change the flow of execution. Here it is. Any doubts here? In the, it is a simple loop. Whenever we want to execute some statements multiple times here, simple loop, then it will be used. Okay. So I have explained you the 4 stages here. We talked about calculation. So what is calculation? Calculation is used to apply some expressions and finally store the result. Multi-calculation is at a time to calculate multiple expressions, execute. Data item is to store the values. Anchor is basically to design the flow. We don't find any code here. Even if we double click on this, we don't find any code here. That is just for designing purpose. That is just for designing purpose. And decision stage is just like if statement will mention the expression. Finally, it will return either true or false. If it is true, what do you want to do? If it is false, what do you want to do? It's up to our requirement whether we write one condition or multiple conditions. We can also write multiple conditions by using and or operators. We'll be seeing that next level, next examples, we are going to see that. So these are the stages we have discussed. Block is mainly used to just group your objects, group your stages. We don't write any logic in the block. Block is just for grouping your data items. It is for designing purpose only. Okay, just to recognize, saying that these all are related to the some functionality. That Kumar, instead of yes, can we give expression again? Yes, no problem. So you want to write any expressions here, again, you can go for write an expressions, not a problem. Right now, in the decision, I have given a condition. Finally, it's telling me either true or false, means yes or no. If it is yes, what do you want to do? You can define again calculation or any other stages. It is just like a if statement. If condition is true, what do you want to do? If it is false, then what do you want to do it? Okay. So this is how it's going to work here. So let's practice this. Okay. So I'm going to close 10 minutes early today. Okay. So tomorrow we will have as usual, because people has not installed the software still. I will be continuing with the classes, means it is difficult for you to practice it. Okay. So you will be receiving the video file today and interact with Mr. Naresh to get all the details. Thank you. Let's see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see it on the next step. So that is our third session will be tomorrow. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let's meet tomorrow.